What's up, guys? My name is Uncle Bobby, and welcome to our new show. Our new show, the man, the legend on my left-hand side, Mr. George Mienie, CEO of AutoTrader. We have him sitting at my usual spot because of his big biceps. He came off flex today, and the only wide camera is in front of him, so we can get him in shot. Sir, welcome.
Thank you, Bobby.
Really excited.
Appreciate that. Legend number 2, actually. Legend number 1 sitting over here.
No. This is the narrow angle camera, so I'm fine. You guys can see me. You guys can see Top G on my left, and we decided to make a brand new show.
Don't know what we're going to call it yet.
Yeah, we'll figure this out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure this out. So we're very excited to share. I'm very excited. I love sharing losses. Mr. George, to be as successful as he is, obviously had to go and undergo and live through some on his own. Perhaps he's kind enough, like he always is, to share some of the losses and the lessons that he took out from them, and talk industry. We are super excited. We are in an amazing industry. It's changed my life. It's changed so many people's lives, and it affects everybody in South Africa. Whether you own a car or aspire to own a car, this is the show for you. We're going to give you good, bad, and ugly, man. I'm freaking excited.
I'm excited too. The automotive industry contributes, I would imagine, at least 20% to South Africa's GDP.
Yeah.
Now, some economist is going to come and say, that's a lot of crap. New car manufacturing on its own contributes about 6.5% of South Africa's GDP. But that's not taking into account the second-hand car industry. Every one of you guys as dealers sell 2 times more used cars than new cars in the country.
Yeah.
And that fluctuates between 1.2 to 2.2 times the sales of new cars. So if you take the second-hand car market into account, you take all the other services to the second-hand car industry, like tires, shocks, exhausts, brake pads, all of those services to the second-hand car industry or even to the new car industry. So if you add up all of those additions to the automotive industry, I would imagine, I don't know this for a fact, I don't have any data to support it, and I like data. I would say 20% of our GDP is automotive industry, but the automotive industry doesn't get enough support.
Yeah. Agree.
Like other industries, like agriculture or other mining industries, the automotive industry doesn't get enough support. Here's an example. We're supposed to be following the rest of the world when it comes to moving to electric vehicles. Have you sold an electric vehicle off your floor?
I've tried so hard.
It's difficult to do.
Very
Second-hand
hard.
electric vehicles is a difficult place to be. Why? Because the consumer hasn't yet seen the benefit. The only reason that second-hand electric vehicles would battle to sell is because the consumer doesn't see the benefit.
The value does not exceed the price.
Exactly. Why is that?
Support.
Because the government hasn't provided the right incentives to stimulate that demand.
Incentives in terms of making sure that the cars arrive via selling at the correct price.
Yes.
Not inflated.
Yes.
And there's a big elephant in South Africa, which is we don't have enough power for these things.
Uh-huh.
How are we going to power our cars?
Well, I mean, that I'm a big electric car fan, but the vulgar mechanics of cash in many instances make it impossible for the average consumer.
Yeah.
And one thing the government hasn't done is just reduce the import tax. It's at 25%, whereas importing a regular ICE vehicle is 18%. So
huge difference.
It's a massive difference.
Yeah.
So our automotive industry is massive, but not getting the support, I suppose, is my point.
Good. I want to jump into straightforward good, bad, and ugly. Currently, good, bad, and ugly in our industry, in South Africa, I think the people that are going to watch this episode's lives, good, bad, and ugly. I'm gonna throw forward the 3. Perhaps you've got some to add, and we can unpack them.
Uh-huh.
So good. All the experts that I've spoken to in the last 2 weeks indicate that the interest rate is coming down. September is the due date for the first 0.25 point reduction, according to all the experts that I've spoken to. And it's multiple banks and multiple divisions in banks, so home, vehicle, and other experts. So that's good. How do you think will that affect consumer confidence, first of all, high level in the government, in the new coalition government, all these new nice things that they keep selling us? And we should be buying because we are in that environment now. And do you think that makes a small difference in people's lives? Or do you think, considering that 0.25 will affect your bond, your credit card, everything else, does that stimulate the consumer confidence in going into a mindset and a mentality of, cool, it's time to buy cars now? What is your opinion?
So, Monetary Policy Committee decisions are usually late.
Okay.
So when you look at a Monetary Policy Committee decision to either increase or decrease interest rates, it's usually as a reaction to other metrics.
Okay.
So inflation starts rising.
Right.
So then the reaction by the MPC is to increase interest rates to curb spending.
Yeah.
So if we curb spending, inflation comes down. Okay. The thing about our inflation in the country, though, is it's been between 3 and 6% for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay. So do we have an inflation problem in the country? I don't know. So any interest rate reduction in a non-increasing inflationary environment will have a huge impact positively on the consumer, because if prices aren't rising and there's an interest rate reduction, effectively the cost to that consumer comes down.
Yes.
Whereas if you've got rising inflation and you've got a reduction in interest rate, which is counterintuitive, the one cancels each other out effectively, because inflation will cancel out the savings you get on the finance.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we don't have a high inflationary environment. We've got a flat inflationary environment. It's not low at 5.5% odd,
Yeah.
but it's also not high. So I think South Africa, by and large, is not bad when it comes to finance. We get our decisions right. I mean, we almost missed the 2008 financial crisis.
Yeah.
Because our Monetary Policy Committee, I think, is not too bad. I think they're one of the better ones.
I agree. And according to the experts that I've spoken to, and according to Business News and most of the leading news providers, the prediction is that by mid-2025, the interest rate should go back to just post-COVID. So we're looking at under 9 for prime, or just over
That is
9.
brilliant. In this inflationary environment,
If we can get it
brilliant.
there, amazing.
I think that will stimulate the automotive industry more than we can imagine, because at the moment, as you know, car prices are, or should I say, retail inflation on used cars has come down.
Yeah.
Which means that realistically, used car prices are coming down. There's downward pressure on used car prices over the last probably 6 to 8 months. So as prices come down, if interest rates come down at the same time, there will be a period of time, like a window, where lots of stimulation will happen until prices start rising again because of demand.
Yeah. I can't wait.
There's an opportunity to make a bomb in that period, whether you're a consumer or whether you're a retailer.
Yeah.
You just got to watch that interest rate, watch used car prices, and you can trade yourself into becoming rich.
Yeah, 100%. And from a consumer point of view, you will be able to buy a vehicle that's potentially not attainable right now because prices are high, because the demand is there. And as the interest rate starts falling down, demand also falls down. That window of opportunity, you'll end up being in a cool situation where you can you can pay the same installment for your 3 Series onto a 5 Series by trading up. I'm very excited. Our database better get ready. Okay, what's up, guys? We are back. We had some equipment issues, so we've got extra mics.
That's why the cups appeared.
Yeah, cups in the set.
Like a good transition.
Yeah. And we figured out, Elsie took the equipment home. She did privates on the weekend, dropped some of the stuff. Now it's damaged, but we'll make it work. Thank you, Els.
You're welcome.
All right, so good. Interest rates are, I'm going to say it.
Primed to come down.
Yeah.
Primed to come down. Did you catch that?
Guaranteed. Primed. Guaranteed primed to come down. So prime will come down. The bad. And I think this is a subject that I'm really excited to unpack is...
I'm scared.
No, don't be scared. I'm really excited. Every morning I say something to myself. Body of an athlete, mind of a stoic, spirit of a fucking warrior. And the reason I say that to myself is because a couple of years ago, I didn't, not that I do now, by no means, but I'm in pursuit of a body of an athlete. I was overweight and self-love wasn't there. Mind of a stoic because so much shit has happened over the past 2 years, not only to me, to people I love, to South Africa. And spirit of a fucking warrior, because no matter what you throw at me, I'm going to just come out better. That's the mentality I tell myself. And looking up to you for a while, I know that you believe in most of those analogies as well. You look 19, 20 years old.
Thank you.
And you're in your mid-30s, so congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't know how you do it, but you do it. And in saying that, I want to unpack, first of all, what the fitness level that you've achieved means for the rest of your life, personal relationships, business, everything else, and would you be able to perform at the level that you currently perform if you're not in this condition? And I also want to bring up a new hobby that I'm going to go into, which is women boxing. So whoever's
No,
watching.
I didn't expect that.
So whoever's watching under 65 kgs, put
Fast
me in the
forward.
ring with a woman. I'll bliksem that chick hard. And you can bet on me, I won't lose you money, because that's apparently the new thing. What the fuck is going on, my friend? So let's start with health. How has, and I know in your personal life, AutoTrader, there's been turbulent times over the last years. How has the management of your body affected your mind and your ability to perform at the level that you do?
I think, thank you for the compliment.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Well deserved.
Thank you. I think firstly, I've always tried to be healthy. And when I say try, it's because it's a constant struggle.
Yes, sir.
It's a constant struggle. It doesn't matter what you think you're achieving. If you don't continue, it will go backwards faster than it can go forwards.
Yes, makes sense.
So it's a constant struggle. So I've tried. I've always tried. And it's been up and down like a heartbeat. In my early 20s, I was an endurance cyclist.
Yes.
And I think because of the company I kept, those people around me, who at the time were very religious and very health conscious, influenced my mind
Programming.
to my programming to constantly think about health. What am I putting in my mouth? What am I eating? What does this mean? I think I've got good metabolism anyway, but you can't rely on that. I don't think it's, especially when you start getting older.
Agree.
So I was an endurance athlete. And because I was an endurance athlete, I wanted to get better and better and better. I didn't want to be a professional cyclist. It wasn't my thing. I did all the Arguses and the 94.7 and I did them. but I wanted to improve. Matthew McConaughey does a good speech that I often refer to, and that is every week, every day, every week, every month, the person you should be chasing is yourself in 10 years' time.
Phew.
And so I read more and more and more and started to become more interested in longevity.
Okay.
Okay, so that became the driver. Was, hold on, you're going to die. And I think that humans don't come to grips with their own mortality enough.
We're all expiring.
We're all going to expire. You're all going to be in the fucking ground at some point. And guess what? Within 2 generations, no one is going to remember your name.
Jeez.
No one. If you think about anyone that has passed on in your life,
Yeah, 2 generations. You're 100% correct.
how quickly do you stop talking about that person? Do they disappear out of conversation? It becomes something you have to keep alive with effort.
Yeah.
Now imagine that in 1 or 2 generations' time. George, who's he? Bobby, who's he? I mean, how often do we talk about Nelson Mandela?
Not often enough
Less
anymore.
and less and
Yeah.
less as time goes on. And he was an icon. So longevity became quite an important thing to me. And so I stumbled across, I think, what is the real essence of living a long health span. So I think we can extend our lives to the max, whether it be 80, 90, 100 years, but none of us want to be frail for 20 years.
Absolutely. Hell no.
So that became something I was very interested in. And you can. And it comes down to one simple principle. And then there's downstream effects. And that simple principle is muscle mass. Over one's lifetime, humans' muscle mass deteriorates and then can't be rejuvenated once you get old. It's difficult. You can, but it's difficult. So the best principle that I've found to focus on is increase muscle mass early,
Yeah.
so that as that decline happens,
Takes longer.
you take longer to not be able to walk, to not be able to lift things, not be able to jump, walk upstairs. And so you get to the end of your life and then suddenly you're gone.
Boom.
Boom. That's, for me, the objective. But what I discovered is that there's downstream effects. And that is mental clarity,
Okay.
hormone balance, confidence,
Absolutely.
energy.
Amazing
Energy is
side
a
effects.
massive side effect. Constant energy, all the time. And those downstream effects have now become the drug. After the initial drive was longevity and how do I keep myself healthy to live as long as possible, now other things are the reason. It's the downstream. Well, I want this energy.
Yes.
And then when you go and eat crap for a weekend, what happens?
You have to pay.
You pay.
Everything has
Pay
a
the
cost.
piper. Exactly.
So the energy and the constant energy. Amazing you bring it up. I come into work 7 o'clock. We start training with a sales team. So we do objection handling, lots of stuff. At the moment we actually don't have enough time in the morning to do all the things that we need to do. Anyway, then at around 11 o'clock, I see Vince for the first time. And then he'll tell me, you didn't train today. Just by looking at me, he'll tell me you didn't train today. Then I'll say, yes, I didn't. He can see me. I didn't train today. The company performs differently when I go and start my day at the gym. I've made a commitment to myself. We'll get into your physical training program, but I've made a commitment to myself that I'm a 7-day-a-week training person. I don't take days off because the way I feel right now, I've got, what's the time? It's almost lunchtime. I've got more energy now
Feels like 9 a.m.
than I had this morning at 9 a.m. So the energy, it's a pyramid scheme. Vince always says that you have to go and give to get. So it's literally a pyramid scheme. It's changed my life. On the Stoic mindset, I want to jump into that. So mind.
Well, this helps with Stoic mindset,
Yes,
right?
it leads into it.
Yes.
But it has to, in my opinion, you cannot think yourself in a certain state. You have to act into a certain state.
You know what? If you are 150 kilos and you don't have a medical condition, you can stand in front of the mirror as much as you like and say, I'm healthy. Doesn't make you healthy.
Doesn't make you healthy. Doesn't make you healthy.
Sorry,
How's this joke?
You okay?
So we're not editing this out. So first you take the equipment home, you drop it, you break it. Then you come into the room with COVID or some other khoko that you've got that you're potentially going to give us else. What's going on?
we can call it the Alzi show.
The Elsie show, no problem. Okay, cool. You okay? All right, cool. So I agree with you. Standing in the mirror at 150 kilograms, talking to yourself and hoping you become healthy, and this, you're going to love this, is like taking out a lighter and pretending that you are a dragon. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
You're not a fucking dragon. You can't think yourself. So yes.
You can't. Thinking is important because what you think about, you bring about.
Yes.
But the next part is the most important part, and that's the action.
You have to do it.
You have to do it. Like, you can't think yourself into fucking losing weight.
You can't. You have to first of all. And another thing. So I went to an expert that helped me lose the weight. Then I followed him to the T. Then I went off the rails a little bit because I started listening to people that had results that I really wanted. But they didn't take the time and the care that the expert took to provide me with information that's suitable for me, because each body type is different. So once I went off the rails, I damaged myself. I damaged my elbows, my shoulders. But even though I was doing the things in the gym incorrectly, I was still training. So I'm ahead of everybody else that's not training. So doing something incorrectly in the gym is better than doing nothing. Once you figure out, okay, but I'm starting to get hurt, you go and seek information, you correct, and then you do it the proper way. But you can't think yourself into a healthy body. You have to act.
I've seen so many. I mean, I changed gyms because I've seen so many people go into the gym and they stand there. And I'm waiting to use that machine. I think to myself, you just get off your phone and do some bloody work.
Yeah. Why are you here?
Why are you here? And standing around in the gym is as bad as looking in the mirror trying to think yourself into a better body.
100%. 100%. Now, I want to jump into the mind of a Stoic. We, off camera, discussed a book that Vince recommended to me and to you. You finished the book. It's the book that I didn't finish. I went 40%. But you have an amazing analogy. And I think this is so applicable to everybody. It's so freaking good. Please share. Please share on camera the mouse and the snake analogy.
Oh, okay. I thought that this analogy was applicable in so many different scenarios in life that it can't be ignored. The first thing is, snakes eat rats, right? So in the mind of the snake, is the snake evil? Okay, that's question one.
So I think no.
No.
Because the snake is just being a snake.
Snake's just being a snake.
That's how snakes do.
In the mind of the rat, is the snake evil?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that scenario is victim, snake.
Yes.
Okay. So can we extend that argument to say, in the mind of the victim, the snake is always evil? But is the snake evil?
No.
When does the snake become evil?
So, and off camera I said never, but there is an instance where the snake actually becomes evil.
Which is when the snake enjoys the torture of the rat. That's when the snake becomes evil.
Agree.
But
That
in any
lands.
other scenario, the snake's just doing what the snake does.
That lands because, for me, the last 18 months have been really, really hard on our business. And hard from this point of view. 10 interest rate hikes in a row stun your growth. We were on a trajectory as a company. So if you look at a graph, we were this. Full throttle up only. And that's what we were used to, because for a minute, for 18 months, we enjoyed very low interest rates.
Yeah.
So the moment...
The post word that-
Post-COVID.
yes,
Yeah,
the post-COVID opportunity you've capitalized on.
By the way, good time to reveal who brought and introduced COVID to South Africa. We did. I don't know if you remember, you invited me to join you for NADA.
We patient number 0.
Yeah, so NADA in the States, we go have a jaw. Vegas, freaking, that place is fucked. I don't know how to...
It's
Yeah,
another planet.
yeah, Vegas is not real. It's not real. But anyway, on our way back, we land at Heathrow in the UK. And I say to my wife, why are all these Asian dudes wearing masks? What the fuck is going on? She says, I don't know. Maybe they've got a virus. Maybe they're sick. I'm like, maybe. What about this COVID thing? It's in China. These Asian guys are probably traveling from China, passing through Heathrow. I'm like, no, we'll be fine. Then we land in South Africa, and 2 or 3 days later, I am literally dead. And I phone you, and you also dead. So I ask Mr. George, sir, are you going to test? He says, I'm not fucking testing. I'm like, I'm not fucking testing either, because what if if I die of COVID, it's fine. I don't want to know I have COVID. It must just take me. So I think we brought COVID into the country.
Patient 0.
Patient 0. But back to the snake and back to the victim mentality.
So in the rising interest rate environment that you just touched on, right?
I'm the rat.
So is the system evil?
No.
So are the banks evil?
No, they're trying to curb inflation by increasing the interest rate.
But all the dealerships that are not winning in this environment, do they have that rat mentality?
Yes. Yes.
Victim mentality.
I speak to them every day. You know who you are.
But that's the subtle flip.
Yes.
Is the rat can avoid the snake by not having that mentality.
Yes. And because we find ourselves in that environment, so do our clients. Conversation we had yesterday, perfect conversation, of someone being a victim, having the rat mentality, seeing me as a snake.
Yeah.
He says to me, Bobby, I will not sign for a cent over 5,700 Rand. I said, no problem, sir. I'm your guy. We go, we fight the banks to the lowest possible rate. We stretch the term. It's 5,870 Rand. So it's 170 Rand more than the target that the victim set for me. So I said, okay, cool. Now, I've looked at his financial situation. He's in a good place. He has set an imaginary target that if I go beyond that, he's not buying the car. And if I present it in that way, both of us lose. And here's why both of us lose. In my mind, I know that the vehicle has been prepared to the extent that no one else will, and I'm giving him the best product. I'm taking care of him and his family. And in his mind, he set a bar that I should jump over or else no deal. So I say this to him, sir, no problem. It is 170 Rand over your target that you've set for me. But once a month, every month, you can come to Mit Mak Motors. This is where I sit. I'm always at work. A day or two before your debit order goes off, and I'll give you 170 Rand every month, if it's that much of a big deal to you. 170 Rand is nothing. It's not money. It's not real. Wake up. You're getting the car of your dreams, and you have to pay 170 Rand extra. Would you like me to write it on the letterhead and send it to you on email that I'll give you the, no, Bobby, it's enough now. Stop making jokes. Let me just sign for the car. So sometimes telling the rat that, listen, your job is to get the fuck away from the snake, and the snake's job is to eat you. Now we understand who does what in the room.
Well, I think sometimes the rats are like, here I am, please eat me.
Yes, because they don't understand the big picture.
Yeah. Vince brought up something a little bit earlier on as well, is that okay, so elevate your thinking now to an eagle. Now suddenly, who the fuck's the snake?
A victim.
The victim.
Amazing.
There's always going to be somebody bigger. There's always going to be something that tries to derail your plans. Wake up in the morning, you don't feel like going to gym.
4 o'clock. Don't be a little bitch. That's what I tell myself. That every time. Don't be a little bitch. And then I get to decide, what am I?
The rat or the snake?
The rat or the snake. Amazing. I'm loving this conversation. Back to women's boxing. Any scouts out there under 65 kgs? I'll do the cut. I'm in. You guys can bet on me. I'll donor every chick that's under 65. What do you think of what happened?
I didn't see it. I haven't. I'm ashamed to say I have not watched any of the Olympics.
I'll give you a 30-second.
I believe the opening was bad.
Yes, no, that's messed up. But the boxing match I'm referring to is a biological male was allowed to compete against a biological female in a boxing ring.
Was she bigger than him?
Same weight. Same
weight class.
But I mean bone density, muscle density, testosterone levels, all these things that were created by God, our creator, have an effect in a boxing match.
Who won?
I think it's 36 or 46 seconds later, the dude hit the lady so hard that she started crying for the corner to please come and help her because he was going to fucking kill her. How is that allowed?
No, that shouldn't be allowed.
I wish I could go back in time and take bets and maybe bet a few bucks on the... Elsie, why are you laughing at me? It's fucking ridiculous. Like, can somebody that has decision-making power just be shot or something needs to be fired so that these things are not allowed? Because it's all funny and it's conversation.
Yeah, until it gets real.
But if I put myself in the shoes of the lady who trained her entire life, to be able to go to the Olympics, you have to dedicate your entire life to the sport. And you end up fighting a dude and you've trained your entire life. How does that even... What the fuck?
I didn't even know that this was a sport.
Okay. Spirit of a warrior. I would like to ask you about failure. So I know there's no victim card in any of your pockets. Failure. Do you see failure as, I have to go through this, I'm happy I'm going through this, and it's just sequencing of moves that I've made incorrect to end up here and it's teaching me a lesson? Or do you see failure as, damn it, I feel like I could have enjoyed life a little bit better had I not experienced this? How do you process failure?
Fuck, that was dumb. How do I not do that again?
Okay. So blame yourself inwards. I like it. Good. Spirit of a fucking warrior. What do you think about the future of our country, the future of automotive, the future of the planet?
The answer to that question lies in how one wakes up in the morning. I have come across people, they'll wake up in the morning and they might make jokes about it. They're grumpy until they have their first cup of coffee.
So the coffee controls you in the morning?
Yes.
Basically, okay.
Yeah, exactly. But when you open your eyes, the fact that you fucking opened your eyes
Is a blessing.
is a blessing.
Okay.
Because you're alive. You've been allowed to live another day. Nobody's attacked you in the night. Nobody's taken your life.
Oh, they won't. Look at those guns that you've got, that you brought along with you here today.
You're alive.
Yeah.
Okay. So your next decision is the most important decision. And that's be happy.
Okay.
Don't wake up grumpy.
And it's a decision.
It's a decision.
You consciously have
It's
to
not
make.
it's not a feeling.
It's not being happy is not a feeling.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a decision.
Being happy is not a feeling. It's a decision.
Yes. Decide. All the positive reasons.
That's a gold drop. Elsie, if we can have like an explosion out of my hand. 1, 2, 3. Being happy is not a feeling, it's a decision. And it comes from you.
Because everything then flows from that decision in the morning.
Fucking love it.
So I like to see myself as an eternal optimist.
Okay.
Okay. What I mean by that is, I know there's lots of negative things. You can't be stupid, because if you're doing 120 k's an hour in a car and there's a tree over there and you're going towards it, guess what's going to happen if you don't avoid it?
You'll die.
You're going to hit the fucking tree, right? That's
10
negative.
out of 10 times, yes.
That's
Yes.
negative.
Yes.
Okay. So there's lots of obstacles in the world. But the spirit of optimism doesn't see those things as things that will stop you. Optimism is about finding a way around it. You're not trying to remove the obstacle. The tree ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
But you got to find a way around it. And for me, that's optimism. Optimism is not also sticking your head in the bloody sand like an ostrich.
Yeah, that's just being dumb.
That's stupid. So, the analogy of, if I can't see it, it's not there.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Like,
it's there.
that's stupid. You're going to hit the fucking tree.
Yeah.
But optimism is recognizing the obstacle, recognizing the thing in your path, but realizing that it's a path and there's something on the other side, and going around the obstacle.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Dropping bombs here. Love it. Love it. I want to ask you something else. I want to get back to good, bad, and ugly. Ugly. Back to automotive. Because this has been fun. When we visited the States and I saw how connected everything is, and connected everything is for most of the people that are going to watch the show, normal for us in South Africa, until the day that I saw what normal for them was, is you come in, you give your ID number, all your documents, then they go and check against your ID number, your income, your proof of address, etc. And then the bank makes a decision whether you can afford the car or not. This is a lengthy process. As slick as it's become and as fast as it's become, it's very slow compared to the States. And that's on the finance side. On the transparency side, which big ups to you, you've absolutely, in my opinion, you've taken many risks in your career. One of them was transforming AutoTrader, the magazine, into a digital product, fully digital product. And and just dominating that space by risking it all at a time when, I mean, AutoTrader Digital was a couple of years old, and I'm at that stage, I'm very young, and I'm still saying no to internet advertising on AutoTrader. I like a book because the customers come and buy a book, and then I love the pricing strategy. Like the glossy part in front is where all the heavy hitter dealerships, and I want to be just behind that because I don't have the 50 or 60 grand to be on the front page, because that's what it used to cost, if I remember correctly,
you're right.
those years.
Yes.
And you said, this works really, really well. Like, it's absolutely incredibly profitable. Let's just chuck it away and let's put it onto digital. A big risk. Worked out. You did fine.
Well, I mean, it's like if you're running away from something that's chasing you, and you get your arm caught in something that can't get out, cut your arm off.
Yeah, and I love the analogy, because the internet was chasing you, and people spent more and more and more time online, and more people started having access to internet. And I mean, it was going there anyway, but just to take the risk is to take the leap of faith to say, this is known, this is unknown, but I know in the near future this is going to be the norm.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing there is, and this has happened across the world with different industries. You know, one of the big industries that this happened in was mobile phones. And when you have revenue tied up in a particular technology, now magazines are technology.
Yes.
It's analog, but it's still technology.
And in my opinion, a magazine business is a lot more complex. I'll give you my opinion. I might be wrong.
Website's simple, yes. It's compared to a magazine. You're absolutely right. We in those days would publish and sell 100,000 magazines once a week. Distribute to 5,000 retail stores in South Africa.
Jeez.
The limiting factor in South Africa was there was no printer that could print more than 1,000 pages for us. Okay, so the limiting factor was the binder.
Wow. Okay.
A printer in South Africa, Palweb printers, who we used to print with, imported a binder for us
to be able
to print up to 1,000 pages, or bind. Sorry, a binder to be able to bind. Printing's not the problem, because they
the binder was the
binder was.
Is that business still around?
Yeah, Pal's still around. I think they've diversified.
Okay.
But the binder was the problem, because it was what we call perfect bound, glue on the back. You've seen those kinds of magazines.
Yes.
So the limiting factor was the binding, and on some of our bumper issues, we get close to 1,000 pages.
Jeez.
So our commercial magazine, the removal of the commercial vehicles into a separate magazine at that time was called Commercial Trader, was a move to reduce the size of the magazine.
Because you couldn't make it more
because
than 1,000
cars were
pages.
getting so fat.
Gotcha.
Making the magazine so fat. So otherwise we would have left trucks inside there. But the limiting factor was the binder. And in those years, we had hundreds of millions of rands tied up in that magazine. And we could print and bind up to 1,000 pages, which was approximately 10 to 12,000 vehicles. Maximum publishing in 1 week.
I checked this morning, 82,000 some change vehicles advertised on AutoTrader this morning.
Exactly.
Wow.
So the problem was the revenue tied up in the magazine, where the internet was in its infancy, and how do you move that much revenue from one technology to another without losing revenue or profitability? When a startup can come into the market on the new technology
and dominate you
and eat your lunch, because they don't have the costs of producing this monster.
That's a real race.
It's a real race. Took us 10 years to do. 10 years.
Amazing.
But we did it. But it's happened in many, many industries.
And the next risk that I think was even bigger than this one, because now looking at the industry, looking at competitors, you went and decided that consumers need to be aware on how a vehicle is priced. So it's either highly priced, fairly priced, or low price. And the danger that you had to process, the risk that you had to process in your head was, what if we lose 50% of our customers? And 50% of your customers is the dealer network. The other 50%, am I reading it right or wrong?
Yes.
The other 50 is the community that buys the cars on the platform.
Well, I mean, what we describe ourselves as is a two-sided platform marketplace.
Yes.
And if one gets into the marketplace definitions and dynamics, two-sided marketplaces, always one side's monetized, the other side is subsidized.
Yes.
It's called subsidized and monetized two-sided marketplace. Our subsidized side is the consumer. The consumer doesn't pay to view or browse the vehicles. The dealer pays to get access to the subsidized side. That's
Correct.
the monetized side.
Correct.
And there's plenty of examples of two-sided marketplaces. Tesla's charging network is another example.
Yes.
You've got supplier of electricity, user of electricity. And so you've got a two-sided marketplace there. Sometimes both sides are monetized to a certain degree, but most of the time one side is heavily subsidized. In our case, it's free.
Yeah.
And so you have to walk this tightrope in the middle of, as you put it, the car buyer, the consumer, and the car dealer, the monetized side. You can't. There was a competitor, I won't mention their name, who was our number one competitor back in the beginning of the internet. They're nowhere now, or hardly anywhere.
Yeah.
What did they do, in my opinion? What did they do? They built their business around one side of the two-sided marketplace, which was the dealer.
Yeah.
Our money is coming from the dealer. We'll build our business around the dealer.
Wrong move.
Wrong move. So what we have to do is we have to build our business predominantly around the consumer, taking into account where the dealer is on the journey.
Absolutely.
And where we are on the journey. And that's a very, very tight rope to walk.
And we've had conversations around this. The moment that you put the consumer first, you always win.
Yeah.
Even if it's not short term, long term, you always win.
Yeah.
And that's the ugly part of the discussion I would like to bring up today and have your opinion, is currently the infrastructure and the access to information in our country does not allow the dealer network to put the consumer first. And I'll elaborate, and potentially in the future, with your help, we can resolve this problem. But I want to bring it up because it's very important that people are aware. In the States, I'll go States. So who does it the best? How does that look like? Where are we? How do we bridge the gap? So the States, very simple. On the platform, you are very welcome to click a button, and at a small fee, you get access to the entire history of the vehicle's
Ownership and condition, including
accident damages. And it's transparent, it's there. This car was involved in 2 incidents. The first one was X amount to repair, the second one was X amount to repair. It's right there. How many owners the vehicle had, boom. Who was the previous owner? And currently in South Africa, ugly practice that's happening right now is the insurance companies are declaring vehicles uneconomical to repair, yet they are not being written off, meaning they are still pushed into the market as used Code 2 cars. Then,
how does that happen?
Well, above 2 weeks ago, this actually happened today. I shit you not. 2 weeks ago, I'm in training, and I had a manager that I fired long ago. I haven't spoken to this young man for probably 4 years. During training, my phone is turned this way, and I don't pay attention to it because my focus is the 45 people that are in the room. My phone is turned around, and this specific person sends me a message. He says to me, Bobby, your father was just in a car accident. Please give him a call. I'm not lying to you. I said, I'm so sorry, I have to step out. And as I phoned my dad, I can hear he's not all there.
He's rattled.
Yeah. I said, Dad, are you okay? He says, Bob's my boy, I'm okay. I said, okay, I know where you are. Just hang in. I'm on my way. He says, I'm fine, thank you. I said, is anything broken? He says, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. Jump in the car, and I speed off to him. So he took home, he needed to bring something from home to the dealership, a Mercedes-Benz X-Class double cab bakkie. And on the way to work on Soutpansberg, someone did a U-turn in front of the car that he was driving behind. That person hit him, and then my dad went probably 70, 80 kilometers an hour into him.
Sure.
So the airbags exploded, his nail was bent backwards, but he was fine, just a nail. So here's what happens with the insurance company now. They declare the vehicle uneconomical to repair. They presented us with an offer where we're going to lose on total cost of the vehicle to what they're paying us out is 10% of the damages plus a 10,000 Rand compulsory access, something like 60 grand. So they're paying us out 400 and something thousand Rand, 60,000 Rand we're going to have to take a loss. That vehicle is going to a platform that sells vehicles that have been in an accident and will be sold as a used car. It's uneconomical to repair, but it's not written off. Now here's why this is important. Can that vehicle be repaired? Yes, 100%. The trouble that I have is the person that buys that vehicle and repairs it, will they repair it to OEM standards? Will it have airbags? Will they deploy if the vehicle is in an accident? My dad's fine, just a nail that went backwards, and he was rattled because I've literally found him a couple of seconds after he had an accident. But if that car is involved in an accident again and the airbags are not there, he can sustain damage. And that is the ugly part that we find ourselves in. And I know I'm bringing it up, and hopefully with your help in the future we can have access to that information, because it's important. Customers are buying these cars not knowing they were uneconomical to repair.
So I think the path that we're following, and I say following because other countries in the world have done this, so it's not rocket science. And you mentioned the word earlier on, and that's transparency. Now, transparency is a big word, right? Glass is transparent. Doesn't mean you can walk through it.
Yeah.
Transparency, if we just unpack it into its various boxes, the first element is what I call listings transparency.
Yes.
Which is transparency around everything related to that vehicle. Okay, and that's what you're talking about now, listings transparency. Probably one of the most important of the three.
Agree, yeah.
Is listing transparency. And that's, and I'm not talking about the price of the vehicle, I'm talking about the vehicle itself. We don't have enough transparency of vehicles in the country. We don't have enough transparency around police interest. We don't have enough transparency around accident history, whether it's been written off. And it's not about whether it's right or wrong.
Transparency.
It's just about transparency. And the consumer knowing.
100%.
Just knowing, that's all. Just knowing. Because then the consumer can take an informed decision around that listing. So I think that's one of the important parts of the Holy Trinity of transparency. The second part is pricing transparency. Now, AutoTrader has solved for pricing transparency.
Beautiful.
And we will go further to solve for pricing transparency. There's a couple of things that we'll do in the future to make it even better. But it's important that the consumer knows that they're getting value for money. Now, I don't want any consumer to look on AutoTrader's platform and think that a vehicle priced high is a bad thing. It's not necessarily. As long as the dealer's transparent about that vehicle being priced high and can justify the high price, that's transparency.
Yeah.
High priced isn't a bad thing.
We on that note, we sold a Land Cruiser pickup single cab for almost 200,000 over retail, and in the space of, we did a cool advert with I dressed like a legit Land Cruiser owner,
I saw
cocky,
that.
with a bottle of
It was a clip drift, no?
Richelieu.
Yeah,
So
Richelieu.
strong, rope has to hold it together, my friend. One bottle, 17 fights. I know. And the reason why we sold it so quickly, we had 5-6 applications, and I ended up having large, scary Afrikaans males fluking me in Afrikaans because ek het jou gesê boetie, ek soek daai fucking ding. Hoekom uit? And the reason why it sold is because we could justify why the price was there.
It was high demand, low supply,
Lots of
extras, high price. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
Okay? You're transparent. So pricing transparency is the third leg of the Holy Trinity of transparency. Low price. Why is the car priced low?
Maybe the mileage is
Very high.
Maybe
It's had a ding.
Maybe it's had a ding.
Maybe it's uneconomical to repair.
But that's fine. If the consumer wants to buy that car,
Fine.
buy the car.
It's low priced.
But
But I think the high price gets the bad rap, you see.
Yes.
People don't pick on the low price. But the low price is the opposite example. It's just a transparent world.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah. So I really hope in the very near future, because all the systems exist.
Yes.
They just don't talk to each other.
The third leg of transparency is then dealership transparency. And AutoTrader is also going down this road with our customers. And that is helping the dealer to become more and more transparent around their dealership brand and their reputation.
Yeah.
Because good reputations will sell good cars. Bad reputations can improve.
Yeah.
But as long as you know, and as a consumer, if you're buying from a reputable dealer, you'll know. You'll immediately know.
Yeah.
I mean, already you can know. You can go onto Hello Peter, you can go onto Facebook, you can go onto Google reviews, go and see but it's a mission. You've got to jump between platforms. So for me, if those three things are solved, then I think we've hit transparency on the head.
And I think if anyone can do it, you can. My money is on you, sir.
I'm hoping.
And I hope your money is on me for the women's under 65 kilogram boxing match. But jokes aside, like, so needed. So needed.
Transparency in our automotive industry is vital. It's vital for the next step in our economy.
I've really enjoyed this.
So far.
I want to say thank you for the people that watched, and please give us suggestions on what we should call the show.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I was like the Herbie Show or something, but
Maybe some suggestions from our viewers. That would be awesome. What should we call the show? And if you enjoyed it, comment at the bottom so that we can do more. If you guys like this type of content, real, uncensored, sort of not unplanned in a bad way. We had a guideline on topics that we wanted to touch on, but free.
yeah. It wasn't winged, but it wasn't scripted.
Yeah. Please, thank you very much for watching. Hit us with a comment with a potential name, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Bob.
Boom.